Ali, taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world on Newsfeed today. A new law in India is described as anti-Muslim. We lay out what it is, and here's some of the reaction from people online. Well, Miss Universe is crowned, a win for diversity, but do these pageants need to be cancelled? New species alert, and there are a lot of them. And panda babies are given names, and they are not Hong and Kong, as the internet wanted. And at the top of our newsfeed, India's Citizenship Amendment Bill. And while that sounds like a dry piece of legislation, it's anything but. It's been described as an anti-Muslim bill due to the way it seems to discriminate against people who practice Islam. Here's Faisal with some of the detail.
The Citizenship Amendment Bill was first introduced in 2016. According to the government, it aims to grant citizenship to minorities facing religious persecution in Muslim-majority countries. Under previous laws, illegal migrants could not apply for citizenship. By giving refuge to non-Muslim migrants, the Hindu nationalist government led by Narendra Modi says it's righting the wrongs of partition, the division of British India. But the exclusion of Muslims has drawn a lot of criticism. Opposition parties see the introduction of religious criteria as a threat to India's foundation principle of secularism and undermines the neutrality of the state. Myanmar's Muslim Rohingya and Sri Lanka's Tamils, who have suffered genocide, are not part of the list. The Citizenship Bill is also seen as a solution to the National Register of Citizens, which aimed to identify illegal migrants in Assam. The people excluded were required to prove their citizenship before a tribunal or risk of detention or deportation. But Hindus were also excluded from the list. India's Home Minister Amit Shah was forced to clarify that Hindus, Sikhs and Buddhists don't have to fear the changes and will not have to leave India.
Well, as you would imagine, with something that seems on the face of it to be so discriminatory, there's been a huge reaction to it on social media.
This week, India's parliament could adopt a bill that seeks to give citizenship to those minority communities that are being persecuted in India's backyard, but it leaves out Muslims from its ambit. It's something that the opposition has labelled as discriminatory and communal, but a charge the Indian government has denied. You had the country's Home Minister Amit Shah speaking in parliament while tabling that bill, saying that if the Congress party that ruled India at the time partition happened had not allowed partition to happen, then we wouldn't be talking about citizenship issues when it comes to looking at them through the lens of religion. You've got people like Rohan Venkat who vehemently opposed what the Home Minister said, saying it's clear that Amit Shah will have you believe that partition involved India deciding to be a Hindu nation when Pakistan chose to be an Islamic country, saying that's not the case. India chose to let people of all faiths stay on in India and instead chose to be a secular country as reflected in its constitution. It's an opinion that Shama Mohammad has echoed as well. She's saying that this bill is an insult to Muslims and India's constitution, and it's a bid by the government to treat Muslims as second-class citizens in their own country and to polarize the country. She's asking everyone to come out and oppose this bill, and we have seen demonstrations in different parts of the country in the last few days. Scenes like this one have been very common, with people holding up placards saying that India is a secular country and that we welcome refugees of all religion. But the government's proposal has also found takers in many Indians, people like Abhijit Majumdar here, who are saying this. You have non-Muslims in countries like Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh being killed, raped and being forced to convert to other religions, saying this is the first time India has shown the guts to bring a law against the terrible persecution it's seeing in its own backyard. And finally, you've got Rupesh Srivastav saying that India is a natural home to people who are Hindus, Sikhs, Jains and Buddhists. Anyone else has so many other countries that they can choose to be citizens of. Why do they have a problem with India deciding who can can or cannot enter its borders. Now, the opposition claims that this bill has the power to divide the country. Whether that happens or not, opinion on this issue is already sharply divided.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the other things that caught our eye on social media. Well, this is someone called David Datuna eating a banana which was taped to the wall at the Art Basel event in Miami. The banana stock on the wall was apparently art made by someone called Maurizio Catalan. It was sold for $120,000. The piece is called The Comedian, which is fitting because the idea that sticking a banana to a wall with tape is art is one of the funniest things I've heard in a while. Now, David Datuna did not damage the piece by eating the banana. It was replaced with another one 15 minutes later. And that's the reaction of a 4-month-old baby girl who, after being born deaf, had her hearing aid turned on for the first time. The video of this is being shared and reshared all over the internet. And this is the trailer for the new Wonder Woman movie. It's called Wonder Woman 84 and plays on people's obsession with nostalgia by setting the film in, you guessed it, 1984. How daring. This trailer dropped yesterday and has already had more than 5 million views.
My life hasn't been what you probably think it has. We all have our struggles.
Have you ever been in love?
A long, long time ago. You?
So many times. Yeah, all the time.
The Miss Universe pageant has been held and it's been won by a black woman from South Africa, which is great news for representation, but the very fact that these kinds of pageants still exist is kind of problematic.
It's been a big year for South Africa. Now its very own Zozibini Tunzi has won Miss Universe. Her closing speech, a new segment in the competition, won her applause.
It's something that has been lacking in young girls and women for a very long time, not because we don't want to, but because of what society has labeled women to be. I think we are the most powerful beings on the world, and that we should be given every opportunity, and that is what we should be teaching these young girls, to take up space. Nothing as important as taking up space in society and cementing yourself. Thank you.
Zozibini winning Miss Universe caps a significant period for pageants. For the first time in history, Miss America, Miss USA, Miss Teen USA, and Miss Universe are all black women.
For me to be able to be here today, crowned as a Miss Universe, with my hair looking the way that it does, and my skin looking the way that it does, is something truly magical, and I hope that it touches every child who grew up the way that I grew up.
But should pageants exist anyway? People are questioning if they do more harm in objectifying women rather than empowering them. And then there's child beauty pageants. In 2013, France voted to ban child beauty pageants. Following a row over a photo shoot in Vogue Paris, 3 girls were shown in heavy makeup, tight dresses, and high heels. And in Argentina, all beauty pageants are banned.
I think it's absolutely relevant. I think when people think of pageantry, a lot of times they think of the original form of pageantry, where it was just a woman walking on stage in a bathing suit. And that, even more power to you. But now, Miss World especially looks at a woman's heart, not just their outer beauty.
The pageant is controversial for other reasons. US President Donald Trump is accused of regularly entering contestant changing rooms when he owned the organization from 1996 to 2015. And Miss Universe still hosts swimsuit competitions, though they're no longer televised. What can't be questioned is seeing beauty in all its forms. But do we need pageants to do this?
Well, there's a new online game out of China that allows players to take the role of the police and beat up on protesters in Hong Kong. Take a look. go around the world now for some other stories you need to know this Monday. Well, social media is full of video and images of the eruption of White Island volcano in New Zealand. 5 people are confirmed dead, and that number is expected to rise. The volcanic alert level had been raised recently to level 2, and scientists had noticed an increase in the amount of sulfur dioxide gas, a sign that magma was rising. They say that today's eruption was almost instantaneous. Well, this is Sanna Marin. She is Finland's new Prime Minister, and at 34, she will be the world's youngest serving Prime Minister. Finland has a 5-party ruling coalition, and all the parties in that coalition are led by women. Malaysia has reported a case of polio, the first such case in 27 years. It's a 3-month-old boy. Reports suggest that 23 kids out of 199 in the area where the boy lived had not been vaccinated. They also say it's the same strain of polio which was detected in the Philippines in September. And women in Saudi Arabia will be able to enter restaurants through the same entrance as men. The rule of gender-segregated entrances was relaxed on Sunday, apparently. It's not clear that the lack of separate entrances will translate into the genders being able to sit and eat together. Well, it is a big yay for science today, as it's been announced that there are 71 new species out there, and what good timing, as the climate crisis is killing off species at an alarming rate. Speaking of new things, last up today, happy Monday, it's baby pandas. Well, these two are called Meng Wan and Meng Jiang. Their mother is Meng Meng, and they were born 100 days ago. Now, there were some on social media calling for them to be called Hong and Kong in solidarity with the Hong Kong protesters, but that didn't happen. That will do from the Newsfeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints and suggestions. Find me at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on YouTube. Subscribe to that channel. Follow me on Twitter. See you again soon.